the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences 25th Annual Academy Award.
There is a predator on the streets of Gotham City. Ninjutsu, the art of stealth and perseverance.
Thunder moving out. Zia will rise again.
And I promise you, 10 minutes into the picture, they don't know whether it's in black and white or color, whether it's 1:6:6 or 2:3:5 aspect ratio. They're into the movie. And by and large, when they like the movie, when it's over, they're raving about it.
Music is powerful, man. It speaks to a primal pit in our brains. It makes anyone want to get up and get their knees going. Gotta get them pumping, pumping, pumping. Boom, 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 boom.
Do you ever just watch something and think it's absolutely the best thing ever? No matter who or what anyone says, their opinion can't really neglect your enjoyment? I like to think of that as one of your few in your holy grail of media to be sought out after, because it makes no difference to your happiness if someone else says otherwise. For a while, and especially growing up, I love to call back to these moments since that's when something such as social media didn't really play as crucial as a role as it does now. Back then, you could enjoy the media you consumed and formulate your own opinions based on the key word, completely your own opinion. But now times have changed, and it sucks being in the community where, whether you want to admit it or not, social media and the general public can have some sort of influence on your opinion. Let me explain. The way I see it is that there's 3 different types of consumptional enjoyment. Number 1, being the media you like, but the overall popularity can change your opinion. Number 2, the media you already are iffy about because of what reviews and critics already have to say. And number 3, well, we'll get back to that, but I have a feeling you already know. Nonetheless, nowadays everyone's a critic, which is why I said whether you want to admit it or not, it can sometimes leave you at a crossroad of confusion, making you wonder if this is truly how I originally felt. One of the best examples I can give in recent times is the ending of Attack on Titan. For myself personally, at first glance, I was really content with the ending. Now, to say it was my favorite or done perfectly isn't the case. But the most important part is that I was happy. I was happy with the conclusion to one of my favorite mangas of all time. Yet, as time went on, the general crowd came to a consensus that the ending was overall horrible. And it made me honestly rethink how I truly felt about this ending, which is kind of crazy overall. And this wasn't something I realized right off the bat, no. This took me a while to understand for the reason I had mentioned earlier, which was that it's kind of a subconscious take, and something like this just happens when you let the public feed into your own opinions. Sometimes you just don't want to be seen as the one quote unquote wrong to the I who most disagree with you, and that leads to a false reality you've created as someone who thought differently not too long ago. Another case of this just on the other side of the spectrum would be a little known series by the name of
Full Metal Alchemist.
See, the thing people don't really understand is that when you hype up a series to the maximum level of degree that an anime like FMAB was, it leaves a huge remark of expectations to the future consumer. Same could be said with the Chimera Ant arc in Hunter x Hunter. Most people kind of consider it to be a masterpiece, where I'm just like, huh, that was pretty good. And more so speaking on Full Metal Alchemist, for someone like myself, I struggled so badly with this series and tried time after time again because of the extent of high praise people were giving to it. Eventually, there was a turning point in the series for me where it didn't feel like I was forcing myself, but now looking back, I didn't even know if I was just telling myself that because I really loved what I was watching, or because I wanted to feel like I could fit in with the rest of the love the series had so dear with the rest of the fan base. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I'm a pretty avid consumer of pretty much all sorts of media. So eventually, it gets pretty tough remembering all of the media I've consumed, which is probably contradictory to the video, but I do use some of these apps such as like AniList or Letterboxd where ratings play a huge part. The thing is, it's mainly for myself and I'm not going around criticizing anyone else's ratings, but sometimes I'll do some scrolling and come across some pretty poor ratings for series I know little to nothing about. And I feel as if that's just what about leads me to never checking some of these series out. However, there are cases where I'm excited for something and regardless of the ratings, I'll go ahead and check it out. And I'm usually the one who bites the bullet here, but in the case of Marvel lately, it's been not so much the best, but every once in a while we get a new breath of fresh air. It's just when it comes to these critics, some of these highly rated shows are usually the worst, and the same can be said for some of the most recent films. There's been this other show on the block getting attention recently, not for the best reasons, but The Crowded Room with Tom Holland was one of the worst debuted shows in a while, but I had decided to check it out and formulate my own opinion, and to be honest, I've quite enjoyed the show, for reasons that no doubt would need a video of on its own, yet the point is, I'm enjoying a show because I can, regardless of what anyone thinks. And that brings us back to the third reason. Your favorites absolutely no one can change your mind about, but you. You see, there's this kind of gray area which I've kind of found as of late. On one end, you have an opinion on a series that you enjoy that can be altered by the likes of others, and on the other end, there's things that people can say that will never affect your opinion. And an example I can give for myself personally is One Piece. One Piece is a series that I so deeply love and enjoy. There's practically nothing anyone can say or do that will change my mind about that, at least for now. The reason why I say that is because that leaves that gray area intact. I think there's some sort of truth behind why we change our opinions based on others' reactions, and sometimes some people do have a point. But when it comes to critics, I've come to take it too literal. Like every time I see a rotten score, I just think, these guys don't know what they're talking about. And when I see like a certified fresh score, I kind of believe I need to check it out for myself to see if it's really that good. At the end of the day, everything comes down to your perspective, and I think I've learned a lot more about how to formulate my own opinion just from this video alone. Taking criticism is okay, but for someone to completely rip away your enjoyment for something that you love so much is where things kind of step out of hand. So notably, don't force anything down anyone's throat, even if it's your favorite, and let's just all try to enjoy the media for what it is.